Know if you're doing this too. Let me know if you are. I was just chatting with a client of mine. She's an incredible human. She's amazing at what she does. She's a bit of a quiet achiever, flies under the radar, but is like extraordinary at what she does. And we were just having a bit of a chat about where to from here for her and what she wants to create in the future. And she was like, oh, I'm kind of creating this, and so that's an option. And if that works out well, then I'll probably continue to do a bit of that. And then, I could also do this. And if that works out well, then, that would be a good thing. And I just had this sense that there was something going on behind that. Like, none of her outcomes had any real energy behind them. No passion, no heart, no sense of meaningfulness or importance to her. And so I poked around a little bit there, and she resonated quite a lot with what I was poking around for. And she said, yeah, I've been, the stuff that I really want, but I am scared to own that out loud because it feels really big and terrifying and impossible. And it's just safer just to keep my outcomes kind of small and not be really attached to them. And, there's some value to not being over attached to things as well. But when it comes to like products and services and offerings and things like that you're putting out into the world that you want to do well, if you've got that kind of energy around them where it's like, I'm offering this thing and it's pretty great, and if you want it, then that's great, and if it doesn't work out, then like whatever, you're going to attract that kind of energy response to what it is that you're putting out in the world. But like what you're creating, what you're offering, your products and services and things like that should be like gifts of love, absolute love to the world. And if you bring that kind of energy to them, then you're going to have people meet those offers and products and services with that same kind of energy. But you've got to actually be willing to risk disappointment and risk loss and risk heartbreak if it doesn't work out as well. Because if you're not willing to pursue those things, you're just going to be pursuing like small, safe things where, that you're going to get small, safe responses to. And if you go really big, even if something seems like big and terrifying and if it seems impossible right now, then you can map backwards from there to where you are now and figure out a pathway to get there. But if you're just kind of going, I'll just start from where I am now and I'll just dabble in this and I'll do a little bit of this, who knows what that's going to lead to or where you're going to end up. But you have to get some skin in the game. You have to risk potential loss, disappointment and heartache. And you'll be rewarded for risking that as well. You've got to bring this kind of energy to your life and the future that you want to create and the things, the products, services, offers that you want to create for the world. You've got to care about those things. Otherwise, nobody else is going to care about them either. So I just wondered whether there was a little bit of that happening for you. I'd love to know if there is. There's this really cool strategy from NLP called the Disney strategy, which is a strategy for creativity. So when it comes to creating something, the sequence in which you go through things is really important. With the Disney strategy, you've got the dreamer, the realist, and the critic. These different roles or different ways of approaching things. And if you are creating something, whether it's an outcome or a product, service, whatever it is, and you start from the place of the critic and you're just going, yeah, but what if this happens? And yeah, what if this happens? And this could go wrong and this could go wrong. And if you do that first, if you do that prematurely, it stifles creativity. If you go too practical, if you're the realist too quickly, then it limits the kind of ideas and possibilities that you're able to generate. So the ideal sequence for creativity is to start and just dream really big. Go into that dreamer space where all things are possible. You're not critiquing things. You're not evaluating whether things are even possible or not. You're just in this space of all things are possible, this space of abundant possibility, and just dream big from there. There's nothing off the table in that space. And then after you've been in that wild dreamer space, that's when you can then move into the realist and go, okay, with all the stuff that I've come up with, practically and realistically, what can I execute here, and come up with a bit of a plan. And then you bring in the critic. Because a critic, people often think like being critical is a bad thing. But no, the critic has value if it's applied in the right way at the right time. So then the critic can come in and help to bulletproof your plan and your idea. You can bring the critic in to go, okay, what are all the ways that this could fall down? And then you can tap back into the dreamer to brainstorm all the ways that you could problem solve that or respond to that or minimize risk or whatever it is, so that your ideas become really, really robust and bulletproof. So you can just keep kind of cycling through that strategy, but the sequence is really important. So it's like when you're setting your outcomes, when you're coming up with ideas for products and services and offerings and things like that, start in that beautiful dreamer space first. Don't bring the critic in prematurely. Don't bring the realist in prematurely. They have value when applied in the right sequence. So I'd love to know if you've been doing a little bit of playing safe, playing small, not committing, not getting some skin in the game, not bringing your heart completely in and online with the things that you're offering. Let me know.